what do you think we can do to make DSPs more visible, more understood, and more respected in our country, in our society?
We got to get out more, and I think it's gonna fall on, unfortunately, it's gonna fall on the DSPs and the field. I mean, I think that DSPs probably need to organize and need to get loud. You know, not to quote the movie Network, but I'm mad as hell and I'm not going to take it anymore. I think there's a lot to be said for visibility, and there's a lot to be said for being outraged and allowing your outrage and you know, I am in full support of the Black Lives Matter movement. I'm in full support of what's been going on and the social justice that we're advocating for. And I think it's great. But in 2004, Jonathan Carey was crushed to death by a staff member. There was no outrage. There was no marches. There was no, what are we doing with people with disabilities? There, you know, and Edwin Torrado, who did that, apparently was working like 3 weeks straight without a break. So he was burned out. And not to condone what he did, but, you know, he probably was working like that because he needed the money. And, you know, where is the outrage? You know, where is, like, you know, society saying, well, we're not going to tolerate that either. And as a whole, as a society, we tolerate it. I mean, not we, the two of us, but it's tolerated. I think this is great, and this will help. But a lot of publications like this, DSPs are reading it. So it's the general public's not reading about it. So it might just be time for us to get mad and just say, you know, we're not going to tolerate you marginalizing this field anymore, and march more and get out there and you know, organize things. And when we can, if we can staff and you know, staff programs with less staff and throw the excess staff into a van and go to your Capitol and sit on the stairs of the Capitol with signs that say, like, we deserve a fair wage, whatever it is. But I just think, you know, again, like we're seeing change being affected in the streets of this country right now by people marching peacefully, and there's a certain level of anger there, and anger channeled in a productive way can affect change. And I think it's just time for us to get pissed off, especially with this pandemic, that, you know, to be marginalized and everything that's going on, whether it's Black Lives Matter, whether it's the doctors and nurses working, whether it's everyone else is getting the media attention, and DSPs are out there on the front lines doing this, and nobody's noticing it. And maybe it's time for us to stop saying, you know, being nice about it and, you know, kind of joking about it amongst ourselves, and say, you know what, maybe it's time for us to just get pissed off and not tolerate this anymore. I don't have the answers, and I don't know what that would look like, but I think that might be the time for us to just, you know, we're not going to put up with this anymore, because it's not fair. It's not fair. And we're going to have more and more people leaving the field because the wages are just, I mean, society is passing us. And you get to a point where it's, I can make more money working at a McDonald's or in retail. Again, not disparaging those jobs, but in our job, in our field, we have human beings' lives in our hands, and we're not getting paid the dollar that we deserve. And DSPs are clearly not getting paid the dollar they deserve.